energy of a teenager and the wisdom of a sage. It's the Marilu Henner Show.
You're listening to Lauren Henner, Brent Hatley, Jessica Davis, and me, Marilu. And boy, you have certainly seen some of our next guests' fashions on the beautiful and famous celebrities that we all love, like Julianne Hough, Scarlett Johansson, Heidi Klum, Amber Riley, and Brooke Burke. You're really getting a backstage pass today because she is known as the glamorous go-to designer for red carpet elegance, and she's here to share with you how you're not that much different from the stars she dresses. So please give a nice, warm Marilu Henner Show welcome to the fabulous Dalia MacPhee. Woo-hoo! Fashion designer extraordinaire.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. So now tell us about some of the celebrities you've dressed, because there's a whole list that we saw on your website. I mean, Scarlett Johansson, Heidi Klum, Amber Riley, Brooke Burke, Julianne Hough. I mean, these women are beautiful and fabulous, and, it must be easy to dress them.
And by the way, I'm such a fan of yours, and I don't think you've ever worn Dalia MacPhee before, so I'd love to change that at some point.
Oh, my gosh. I was going to try to build up to that in the interview, and you mentioned it first thing. Yes, thank you. Please, the next time I would love.
We don't need to. We're all good and we're all done. It was nice speaking with you.
Okay. Yes. Now you have understood my sneaky reasons for having you on the show. Your stuff is gorgeous. We're going to have a link on MariluShow.com so that people can see your incredible designs and how. I mean, if they look good underwater, can you imagine how good they look standing up? But I know your work. I know your work. I've seen them on the different stars. So how do you get your inspiration for your designs and your dresses?
Well, I've been doing this a lot. I've been designing for about 13 years.
Uh-huh.
I actually grew up in the fashion business. My parents had a chain of stores in Canada. I'm from Vancouver, Canada originally.
Uh-huh.
So fashion was always a way of life for me, and it was kind of great to get that upbringing because I understood and learned the business of fashion, which is really the most important thing, is that it's not just art, that it's wearable art.
Sure.
It's something that's affordable, that it fits all women, that it looks good on the body, and it's something that you're investing in that's affordable, but also you can keep in your closet forever, hopefully.
Right.
So the first inspiration for me is my customer. No matter what trends or influences, and everything comes into play, every season it's a little bit different. But I'm always inspired by who my customer is and making sure that I'm making something that she can actually wear.
Now, I noticed that 3 of your women are on Dancing with the Stars. So do you actually design clothes that, can be danced in, even if they're doing a red carpet event? It's not the clothes for Dancing with the Stars, but these are women who love to move. So do you take that into consideration? Because I know so many times you put on a dress and you think, this might be great for about a 15-minute photo op, but it's going to be torture to sit there for an event all night.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how Dancing with the Stars started for me, but they just took a liking to us from the beginning. I actually dressed Samantha Harris, who was the original hostess.
Right.
And she's probably worn about 15 of our gowns on the show, including the 100th episode.
Wow.
And then from there, how it works, women all talk, and so everyone on the show ended up wearing pieces from my collection. We've had Julianne Hough, Serena Williams, the judge, Kariani Naba, Amber Riley, who, I think she just won.
Sure, I know. Now, you... Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and every woman's body is so different. So do you think that you just know how to honor each individual body? And if so, how do you do that? How do you start with a celebrity and say, okay, what are we going to, how do we accentuate the positive? How do we maybe not deal with, how do we not hide, but just not accentuate some of the things that you might be worried about?
Well, I think, most women no matter what size they are, we're all trying to hide certain areas.
Yeah.
And then there's certain areas which we're all proud of. Like most women are very proud of their shoulders.
Right.
We're all trying to hide some part of our hip or some part of our stomach. So a lot of it is in draping, and it's knowing how to drape the fabric. It's picking certain fabrics that are more forgiving. I like to do certain things too that make it really wear and go. So we do built-in bust cups.
I'm sorry, you do what? I'm sorry, you do what?
Built-in bust cups. So
built-in the bust cup.
Have to go and purchase a strapless bra. You already have a strapless bra in the gown, so it's kind of ready to go.
Right, and if you zip it, if it's zipped enough, then it kind of holds in. Otherwise, it can like spill out. So I'm sure you do it for individual women, whether they're large-breasted or smaller-breasted. If it's designed for their particular bust line, then it really works, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, and I always say the best trick that anyone can have in their wardrobe is a good tailor. Because, I always say find a really great tailor, hopefully near you, make good friends with them.
Yeah, and they have their measurements. Right.
Yeah, it's all in the fit. None of us are perfect. My gowns, what's interesting about them is we dress all the celebrities in Hollywood, but they're made for my customer base. So for the most part, these long gowns, we sell Nordstroms and Neiman's, and they retail just under $300.
Mm-hmm.
Which is amazing.
So they're reasonable. That's fantastic. So you can have Hollywood glamour at a great price. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I know we're talking to Dalia MacPhee, fashion designer extraordinaire, dresser to the stars and Dancing with the Stars, a lot of the people who are on that show. And it says that you've had almost every celebrity in Hollywood in your showroom, and yet you notice the same thing, body image, which many of our listeners can relate to. So what do you notice? What can we do to sort of work with, what's great and sort of like keep the rest out of sight or hide it in some way?
Well, it's so interesting. I've noticed this with everyone that's been in the showroom, but specifically about a year and a half ago, and I can't say who it is, but I had one of the most famous women in the world in our showroom. And, when she walked in, the room stopped. I mean, that's,
right.
She commands the room. And I took her to the back room, and she got undressed, and, she's standing in her underwear looking in the mirror, and her face dropped. And you could tell that she was, and she confessed a few things. She was unhappy with parts of her body. And I thought, how fascinating that, here I am standing with one of the most famous people in the world, and the only thing that's, separating her and I is this mirror. And it really drew to me what is this kind of human in all women. I think they've done reports that show that, 95% of women are unhappy with at least one part of their body.
Sure.
Which is, was very sad to me because we're all so beautiful. And, I think one of the most important things is that you have to dress yourself from inside.
Yes.
Before you get dressed
That's a great point.
And the most important thing you can wear is confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's absolutely true. And I always say if you can't hide it, decorate it. Just celebrate it in any way, for sure. The thing is, though, isn't it? But it's kind of good to know, like, what makes you feel good and what makes you feel like, because like you could put a style on and say this just does not make me feel good, but if we use this style, I know that that's going to make me walk with more confidence. So if women could get into a body image sort of tutorial for themselves that didn't make them feel I'm not worthy or I'm not, I'm not good enough or I shouldn't go out today, things like that. But just to say, all right, we're going to really have fun with this part. We're going to sort of keep this one decorated in a different way. You know what I mean? So like understand your strengths and your weaknesses and celebrate them both, in a positive way and say, okay, let's watch out for this area.
Absolutely. And, part of that is knowing your body really well.
Mm-hmm.
As women, we should be in touch with our bodies anyway, just health-wise.
Right, absolutely.
Really understanding it. And sometimes it doesn't hurt to even work with a stylist who there may be one or two little things that you didn't even think you were doing. Mm-hmm. That, if you're short-waisted or long-waisted. Yeah,
give us some examples. I mean, would you say that color is a big area that people are not really savvy about what works? They do the trend, but then they don't say, oh, well, how does this trend look on me? Let me find the right version of this color, this popular color, let's say, that works with my skin tones. I mean, what area of fashion do you feel that women make the most mistakes for themselves?
Well, there's a few. One big thing is, and this is, I think, a little bit more with the younger generation, is jumping on a hot trend and wearing it even though it doesn't look good.
Right.
And, you know, an example of that would be prints, for example. You have to be very careful wearing prints, especially bigger prints, because they can make the body look 2 to 3 times larger.
Wow. So, that's a good rule of thumb to watch out for.
Usually I recommend if you're going with a print to go with something that's smaller, or maybe part of the garment, not all of it. It's little things like that you don't think of, or you get caught up and think, well, this is the trend. But the most important thing is that you look good and you feel good in it. Another thing is sometimes if you're trying to, for example, elongate the body, it's always recommended that you go with one color, head to toe, instead of breaking it up. So it's kind of understanding where the eye moves.
Right.
And also knowing the parts of your body that you're really trying to accentuate, and then drawing attention to those parts. Like,
that's great.
Know, as an example, if you love your shoulders, you can always do a top, for example, that's covered but has the cut-out shoulder. The cold shoulder look.
Yeah. Right. We're talking to Dalia MacPhee, fashion designer extraordinaire and dressing and stylist for the stars, designer for the stars. Okay, so what are some of the, I know we're in the middle of winter, although you don't feel it really here in Los Angeles right now, but what are some of the hot trends for spring that are coming up that we can all look forward to after the holidays are over?
For next spring. Oh, wow. Well, there's some trends that are in winter right now that'll go forward. So I'd say that, don't throw everything out in your winter wardrobe.
Right.
But we're the whole lace trend is still going forward. So you'll still see some lace, new takes on lace, the lace mixed with chiffon. Color blocking is still going to be big. We're looking at new versions of, lighter swing coats. New takes on the motorcycle jacket, fit and flare dresses, new types of prints, but they're going to be a little more artistic based.
Right.
So, and then, fun, flirty romance.
Do you think that women are spending more time looking good these days, or do you think we're moving into a trend where we're spending less time? I mean, because, before there was always like one kind of look, and now the looks are all over the place, so it allows people to be a little bit more creative. But are people taking advantage of that freedom, or have they taken it in the direction of, sweatpants and workout clothes? Because, boy, I'll tell you something. All you have to do is go to... I was in New York a couple of weeks ago and went to Broadway shows, and I could not believe how people were dressed. I thought, what's happened? We're at a Broadway show. You spend over $100 per ticket. Put on some nice clothes. Put on.
Wow.
Don't wear clothes that you would wear to the gym to a Broadway show.
Right. I'm shocked because usually when I'm in New York, I'm still impressed. I think that the fashion on the East Coast is still better than the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's a really good question. I think that there is a little bit of a mix. I think that because of technology and the access to information, people have gotten more creative with their fashion. So you see people starting to see trends and actually improve them, which is incredible.
Yeah, it's speed. It happens at a much faster rate. All right, so what are some tips for our listeners if they don't want to afford a new wardrobe, they can't really shop the trend, the things that are coming up? How do they shop in their own closet? How can they use their imagination to sort of either break things up or look for things that they might not, their natural eye doesn't want to put together, but you, as someone who is forward thinking, says, go into your closet and put this and this together?
Well, okay, so we could use the holidays just as an example because we all have holiday parties that we're going to. And the one thing I always say is if you're on a budget, what you should invest in are some of the latest accessories because you can pick up accessories for very inexpensive.
Sure.
But right now in the fashion world, the statement necklace, stacked rings, stacked cocktail rings, the clutch, those are all really big and they're very of trend. If you rummage through your closet for items that, and fashion repeats itself. So right now, sequin dresses are very in, cutout dresses, fit and flare, black jersey dresses, motorcycle jackets. But we all probably have if we keep things in our wardrobe, we probably have them from a couple years back.
Sure.
So what you can do is, again, run over to your tailor and get that sequin dress that was a little longer, maybe shortened for the hot length. that'll cost you maybe $20-$30 as opposed to, running out and purchasing a new dress.
Yeah, you have to use your imagination, and it won't break the bank.
Exactly.
It's probably right in there.
If you've got one of those new hot statement necklaces on with a staple black dress, no one's going to know the difference.
Right.
You look like you're part of the trend. And I always recommend, too, something that women overlook is shapewear for underneath. It's really important.
Right.
Whether it's Spanx or...
No, foundation. Well, Spanx, I think Spanx gives people a stomachache. I can never wear Spanx. I know people swear by it sometimes. Two pairs. I was at an event last year, the Red Dress Awards, and Meredith Vieira, she had a pair of Spanx, and she said, "Oh, I've got Spanx on for the first time." It was so painful. And after the third time she came out on stage, she was holding them in her hand, and she said, "I feel so much better. I feel so much better."
It's true. Well, there's other versions. I'll send you some, but there's other versions actually that I found through colleagues. That are as supportive, but they don't cause that type of pain.
Oh, that's good. That's very important. Okay, Dalia MacPhee, fashion designer extraordinaire, I want to thank you so much for being with us. I really didn't hear anything you said since you said I could wear one of your dresses. Oh, no, I'm kidding. No, this has been a fabulous interview. No, I'm teasing. With so much great information. I love it. So go for the statement necklace, a clutch, the sequin dress. You could take it for $20 probably to get your tailor to fix it. Get a little, motorcycle jacket, whatever. You probably have one in your closet anyway. There are things going forward, which are the lace trends, color blocking, a lighter swing coat, some great prints. Be careful of prints. They might add, especially large ones, might make you look 2 to 3 times your size. And if you want to go for a long, straight, lean look, try one singular monochromatic color so that you don't break up the break up the lines. And find those parts of your body that you love to celebrate, whether it's your shoulders, your legs, or any other part of you. So thank you so much.
You did fantastic, Marilu. And can I leave you with one thing?
Oh yes, please.
It's a new year, as you know, and it's something that I like to give to a challenge every year as a designer. And that is for everyone listening, and for all of you guys, your homework is to go into your closet, find 3 articles of clothing that you're willing to let go of, and donate it to someone in need.
Oh, that's great.
Aside from the fact that it's about giving back, it's also a little symbolic because it's about letting go.
Letting go. Thank you so much, Dalia. I'm so sorry we're running out of time. Thank you so much.
'Tis the season of giving a gift that matters. Donate to the Search Dog Foundation, a non-profit organization that takes homeless shelter